guys, what's up? Samurai Bird. Murasame. I will be talking about this sword right here. It's a custom build by Murasame-sword. Now, this is not the original Ito that was on there. I had to rewrap it. I screwed up the original, and I had to. It was that bad. I messed it up really bad. I'll get into that. But other than that, it's all original. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about this. Actually, this one and these swords here are all recently rewrapped. The top 5 swords that I will be reviewing soon. So a couple L6 in there, another Unikubi sword in there. I'm going to start off with a cutting video. This is when I first got it. It didn't do nothing with the blade. It came pretty sharp enough to, I was satisfied with it, at least to work with and see what it can do. And now I'm out of shape, out of practice. Still can't, it's hard to swing my arms over my head, so deal with that. But I'm going to show it anyway. So a little bit of trying my practicing footwork, and luck I didn't trip over myself and stab myself. But anyway, so roll tape. All right, so that was me cutting some bottles with it, kind of getting sloppy there at the end and getting crazy. Yeah, I like this, man. This, it was a custom build. The original Ito was cotton. It's not as, it didn't have a sheen on it like this does, but it was basically the same color, a little bit more tan and gold. And all these videos I'll be showing, it's the original wrap. I just did this like a week or 2 ago. But I tell you what, I was just 2 or 3 days ago, I cut our pumpkins that we had for Halloween. I cut them up. Man, I wish I'd caught this on film. I set them up to cut doubles, right? set one on top of the other one, and sliced through it. It didn't even move. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, all right, did I miss? Do it again. Didn't move. I was just like, wow, this thing is radical. Man, I haven't used that term in 23 years. So I'm like, all right, I can't. The third time, no way. There's just no way. And the top just kind of slid just a little bit. I'm like, wow, man, that was. I just wish I'd have caught it on film. It was so cool. I'll have to do it next year, I guess. So I had one more pumpkin, so I left the bottom one on there and put that one on there and did it again. It still did it like 3 times before it moved. I was just shocked. This thing is so thin and so nimble. I mean, it's just a really well-made Unakubi blade. And I like it way more than the Cloud Hammer, I'm afraid. The Cloud Hammer seems to be very top heavy, even though this sword is, I think this one weighs 2 pounds. It weighs exactly 2 pounds. The Cloud Hammer weighs a little bit under that. I have another Unakubi, and it weighs like 2.3, 2.4, so it's like almost 2.5 pounds. And it's set up like the Cloud Hammer, which both of them are bigger than this. This one tapers a lot at the end of the blade. And it's really nimble because of that. Really bottom heavy, I guess. Handle heavy. I don't know what the opposite of top heavy is. It's nimble. And I was kind of distraught when I realized how top heavy that Cloud Hammer was. And I even changed out the Suba. This was the one that came on it that I actually picked for it. So, I mean, that's on me, right? But then I put this one on there. And it still didn't. It was still top heavy. It was like, great, man. So, yeah, that was kind of a bummer. But it just made me love this one even more. I mean, it's just so nimble. It's just crazy. And, you know, I mean, Unakubi's kind of new to me, so I only got 3 of them. So, yeah, they're kind of a new realm for me, kind of outside of my realm, I guess I should say, and new. But I would thought that was what they were designed for, to be more lighter at the top, because they take away a lot of steel. But I mean, this one's just made thinner and, you know, in all the top areas versus the other two. So, but then the light sword, it's the same size as the Cloud Hammer, but it has the same point of balance as this thing. It's just as nimble, even though it's a little bigger than this one. And the same size as the Cloud Hammer. The Cloud Hammer's bigger than this one. So, yeah. I mean, compared to these two, the Cloud Hammer feels like Shinogi is a career. I mean, it's just top heavy. It feels like a heavy cutter. I mean, it's still light, but it doesn't really feel light because that weight's really up at the top. You really feel it, especially compared to the more I use this, the more I realized how top heavy that one was. So, but, yeah. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Ito, I redid that. So it's, I mean, it was nice. Don't get me wrong. And Murasame did a wonderful job on it. And I was really distraught. I did not want to take it off, but I had to because I messed up so bad. Did I bring this up twice? I should have videoed the cutting bottles. Like I said, I haven't touched the blade. I haven't sharpened it. Or I think all I did was hone it later on, or strop it. And, yeah, so like I said, it's really nimble, really fun to cut with, man. Really different world for me, for a sword to be that nimble and then to be able to cut bamboo on top of that, which is the next video. All right, so that was me cutting bamboo with this decently sized bamboo that I usually cut with my other 1095 T10s. And this one took it with no problems. So, yeah, I was having fun with that. Do this. I don't know how to get on Murasame's store on Amazon without going to one of his swords first and then tapping on that. And then up in the top, it says blue letters. It says visit Murasame store in blue, and you tap on that and it'll take you to all of his swords. Now that's what I did to find the, even though I'd already been in contact email with him, so I knew his email address too, which I'll give you that too. So yeah, I went to his store on Amazon, picked out the Unikube blade that I wanted. It didn't matter the fittings, I wanted that blade. So, I told him I want this sword, but I want to customize everything else. And he sent me, a small gathering of all his stuff, blade laminations and whatnot, the saya, the scabbard, the fittings, the Ito color, the Sageo color. I believe he even does Hishigami paper, little triangle papers. He showed a picture of it, but I didn't ask for that. Yeah. And so he gave me those choices, and I picked, the ones I did, and I don't remember what numbers they were. I think the picture shows it, so you can kind of figure it out. But it was basically black and gold. Like I said, I picked the grasshopper or the dragonfly fittings that were really nice brass, really shiny, but they seem to, okay, now I guess I get into my Ito problem. And I didn't notice this at first, but after using the sword, it started getting dirty. It was really light, tannish, goldish color, so that was my pick. That was my fault. Nothing on Murasame, that was mine. It was just a bad choice of color. And so it got dirty, so I took it off, and I actually washed it with Dawn soap. It turned out really nice. And I was like, all right, cool. And I didn't tape it, should have videoed it again. And so I started using it again, and it started getting dirty again. And I noticed that my thumb was turning a little black, was a little dark. And apparently it was rubbing the tarnish off the Fuchi, off this upper collar, or the collar for the handle for the Suka. And at the same time going on the Ito, because I damaged my wrist. So the way I was performing Noto, sheathing it and unsheathing it, I was all over the Suba and everything. So I guess it was, the tarnish was kind of getting on my hands and then getting on the Ito wrap. Of course, but again, that was me. These are all my choices. This is nothing on Murasame. I'm sure he didn't know either. So, nobody had ever got this conglomeration of stuff before. So, besides that, it's beautifully done. Everything's just really nicely fit, totally geometrically perfect. Even after I rewrapped it, it still fit just perfect. And this is a double wrap even. So I cleaned it off and used it again, and I noticed the tarnish was getting on my fingers and getting on the Ito. So I tried, so I washed it again, and I really soaped it up. And being a painter, I should have known this. I didn't rinse on it because I didn't want a lot of water in it. Even washing it, it's still not a really good idea to try it. And if you do, make sure you dry it. I was drying it with a hairdryer, like for hours, making sure the thing was completely dry. But I think I didn't rinse it good enough, and with soap in there, the Dawn soap, it'll clean the oil off a duck. So it's pretty good stuff. And so then I realized what was going on. I'm like, all right, I'm going to clean it, and I want to lacquer it so I don't have this problem anymore. When I sprayed the lacquer, it blotched on it really bad, and I'm sure there was just soap left over. I didn't rinse it enough. Again, that's my fault for picking the bad color. It wasn't nothing on the fittings. They were all, they're beautiful, beautiful fittings. And I have since, to alleviate that problem, I've lacquered these even. So, like I said, I've stripped the whole handle, and it was really nicely done. He had there was like glue on the, not glue, but some kind of sticky something on the side of it to keep, because it's only panel ray skin. So, that was cool to see. The Kashra, the end here, Dragonfly, if I can get it in focus, kind of. It was siliconed in to fit nice and snug. I mean, the Ito was done so awesome. I'm so bummed out that I had to do it, that I had to tear it down. I mean, everything was just perfect. I wish I could have, I don't know how I would have showed you if it was, but it was, I mean, he did an excellent job. There was nothing on him. I messed it up. So, but although this one, Double Ito, I think this is one of my best jobs I've done. I think it's awesome. Like I said, it really fit. The transition was just perfect, even though it's a double. Now, this is Bohaiyu stuff. It's silk Ito gold with black leather underneath it. Turned out real well. Not turned out real well. Getting pretty good at this, guys. Like I said, I just did all these just recently. Not all of them, just these three right here. So, yeah. And, like I said, he did I wanted these fittings because they're deep, they're really thick, and I like that. It kind of, I believe it kind of protects the edges at the end of the handle, the end of the suka a little bit more, that wood. Kind of kind of the same concept of the Koguchi. They put that ox horn around there so the wood doesn't split. So, it's kind of, then the more wood, the more metal I would think you have to shroud that end of that wood, I think would protect it more. But apparently I rubbed all over my fingers and made a big mess. So that's why this video has been taking so long to put. I should have put it out months ago, but I've been screwing around with that. So, and like I said, Sean at Murasame did a wonderful job on it. I just was so bummed out I had to do that. And, I emailed him and told him, and I asked him, well, because I wanted to call this the Samurai Bird model. But being as I screwed it all up and picked, really not really practical color scheme, that I wanted to take that back and not do that. But I did ask him if he could do double wraps, and he said yes. So, and I don't know if he has the same material to replicate this model. But I mean, you can ask him, say, hey, I want this Samurai Bird model, only I want dark brown Ito and Sageo, or black, or, whatever. I mean, this will give you a kind of a frame to go by if you, want one of the, sorry, I don't think it's a T10 Steel Unakubi geometry, which is, I'll show you here, and I'll get to it. Really nice, really nimble. Did I mention it's nimble? Man, I mean, that's just a totally different world for me. You don't understand. I mean, I'm used to them heavy cutters, the Shinogi Zakuri, which is the most common. But when you go to something like this, and it can do the same thing that those heavy cutters can do, I mean, it just blows me away. So, yeah, I showed the video, bamboo, right? Okay. So, yeah, I mean, so let me kind of go over the parts here. The Kasha was well done. It was on there great. Ito's wrap was on there good. The Fuchi's really nicely done. Like I said, I won't be giving it justice showing it to the camera like this because I lacquered. I actually polished it and then lacquered it. So it's really shiny, really nice, and it's going to stay that way forever now. So either way, so I have no problem with that. I'll probably do that with a few more because they're just turning all black. I mean, as much as I like the patina look, some of them I don't. Some of them that gold needs to pop it out, or it just makes the sword pop. Speak to me, as you knife guys say. Anywho, so yeah, so I rewrapped it and actually put the Minuki under the palm. It's not underneath the fingers like most swords. And you'll notice, if you look closely, these three here, the Minuki is underneath. It would be underneath your palm when you hold it, like you're going to attack a zombie. Now, the other ones aren't. They're as underneath your fingers, which is, the norm. I like it underneath the palm. I think it feels cool. I definitely recommend it. definitely recommend trying it. So yeah, the fittings, the saya was very well done. I couldn't tell by the picture. I thought it would be more gray and natural look on the Semigawa here, which only is partial, and it kind of tapers to a point there. The seam's down here, so you can't see it. That's nice. But no, it's just black lacquered all over. I guess the picture kind of shows it real shiny. I don't know. I'm not concerned, but I thought it was lacquered over like my Ryu sword. It's got a full wrap saya, Semigawa Rayskin saya scabbard, and that's what I thought this one was going to look like. And being lacquered over and being smooth, but I like this. I can feel it. It feels like those textured rubber gloves, latex gloves that you get, the workers' gloves or something. And you can feel it. Your hand's not going to slip on it. It's really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. He's got other ones that are colored, and then he's got other ones that are like what I thought this one was. He has other ones, so he has a good selection. Now, let me safety thing. I've been watching some old videos have been popping up, and a lot of them, these guys were grabbing the sword and just yanking it out. Now, do it how you want. Me, I don't think that's really safe, because if you have to, my thinking is if you have to jerk on it really hard, the action of your hand, when you do it that way, there's nothing blocking your hand. You're just ripping the saya off, and you're having to come back real quick. And I think that's kind of dangerous. If your hand slipped off, you'd be on top of that blade. I suggest, that's the way I do it. I do it as if I'm holding it on my side, the same way with popping it out with my thumb, but my thumb's on top of the blade. Now, when I'm holding it out, I put my thumb underneath, but I'm still resting my hand against that Kori kata, I think, which is all ox horn. I'll get to that in a second. And then I pop it out with my thumb. When you do that, your thumb's at the only length that the baki is, so there's no blade showing. And then you can take the saya off, applying pressure from your thumb to the spine of the blade, and just drag the saya off. Now that's, to me, just seems much more safer. So, little tip, safety tip for the day, bird safety. But yeah, the saya. Now I wanted the black, and as far as the ox horn, I really love it. Man, I'm a sucker for this ox horn now. I just got a fever for it. Even though it's the Koguchi. I'll show that here. Really nicely done. I like it. Really like it. I think that's too focused, but maybe I got a close up. Yeah, I like that. Well done. Now, I think I wanted the more yellow ox horn is what they call me. It's not really yellow, but it's not black. I didn't want the black because I wanted the contrast in the saya, not to be all black. I wanted some little pieces to pop out. So I opted for the yellow. He didn't suggest it. He said it's more poor for quality, I think. There again, that may have been a bad choice of mine, but I opted for that anyway. He's like, all right, okay. So, and I haven't seen no problems with it. It does look, I don't know, maybe he just thought it was, I don't know, it was kind of lost in terminology, but he didn't really recommend that. He would rather I had the black. But like I said, I didn't want the black because I wanted it to look like this saya, which is also a Murasame. It's an L6. And it's got real light brown kind of ox horn parts, which is, like I said, I wanted that contrast. But nonetheless, he did a beautiful job on it. I mean, it's just really nice, man. $300 is what I paid for this. Custom T10 Unukubi blade. And so it's a real nice blade. Actually, you know what? Let's so I haven't done, I think I did strop this for a second, and I guess I'll show a video of that. And the way I use my work sharp with the tool attachment assembly, I mount it sideways so I can lay my blade down flat and more or less keep the same factory edge on it. You know, and this way it's pointed down, the belt's going the right way. Yeah, so that's how I do that. So I did that, and you know, just to kind of clean it up. It came pretty sharp, not real super scary sharp, but it came sharp enough to work. I mean, obviously I cut bottles of bamboo with it. Of course, you don't need it real sharp to cut bamboo, but it sliced it real nice. But I did want to strop it before I started noodles, or cutting on noodles. So, yeah, so I did that. I mean, the hamon doesn't show up real well, but it's got a mirror finish. So, you know, that's the kind of sacrifice there. Now, I probably will etch this up a little bit with some lemon juice and make that hamon pop out a little more. But yeah, I mean, it's got a mirror finish on it. I could, you know, yeah, it's a mirror without a doubt. I mean, you can see me in it from the TV, like that. But it does make the hamon kind of faint, although it is nicely done. It's nice and even, and you know, and I love it. so that was the hamon, and that was me stropping a little bit. So here's me cutting some more bottles, working on some footwork, and almost falling over, I think, on this one. I think I started to lose my balance on a spin or something. Trying to be fancy, almost killed myself. But all right, so watch that, enjoy that. Be right back. So I took measurements on all of this, actually all three of my Mini Coopers, just to compare the nimbility of the blade and whatnot, if that's even a word. I'm not going to bore you with all that. Needless to say, that this blade is it tapers down to almost 4 millimeters, like 4.12 millimeters or something. So it's really thin, and yeah, it makes it real nimble. And see, the blade measured at 28 inches exactly. I'll probably show clips, I'm sure, of what this sword. I have a video of it where I'm filming it just outside with some background music going on. That actually my son did, so that was pretty cool. And I'll probably show clips of that. Yeah, but the blade, 28 inches exactly, 10.5-inch handle, ska, whatever, exactly. Yeah, measurements was very precise. And yeah, the point of balance was, let's see, 3.5 inches from that little groove inside the hibaki there and that blade collar. And yeah, I did a video, I think, hopefully I'll be able to play it, using the HRC files, the hardness files, Rockwell hardness files. I come up with, yeah, sure it's not 61. The 60 didn't even touch it. 65 barely touched it. So I'm guessing it's about a 62 Rockwell hardness, which is, about normal for a T10. Good, that's done, it's forged properly. So that's what I expect, and it had no problem doing that. Pool noodles. I did try pool noodles. Again, I'm out of my realm. And this video will show that. Of course, being Mr. Fancy Samurai Pants, I thought I could just jump out there and do a quadruple pool noodle standing on my head, and it doesn't work that way. So yeah, so I started off, I jumped right in head first, and it wasn't real work. It was really windy, in my defense, but it still wasn't working out for me. So I was kind of getting frustrated, and I was like, all right, back off, bird, what are you doing? And just, tried just some simple cuts just to, get the basics down before I jumped into something crazy, which is what I should have done. So, like I said, that video will show that, and roll tape. right, so I said, I mean, if you, I love this sword. It's really nice. Actually, hey, I got, let me see, one more video I don't cut very often. I probably don't even have any cut. Well, yeah, I do have some videos of me cutting tatami mats, but I pulled one out for this. And I really like that stand. I mean, just stuffing it in the PVC pipe works, man. I mean, it holds it great. I couldn't believe that I was pulling off as many horizontal cuts as I did in this video. So there you go. Let's watch that. So yeah, I mean, if you want, like I said, this, T10 Unukubi. If you're not familiar with what an Unukubi is, it's, there's fuller going to here, or a bohi, and it's got a real swedge on the back. They just cut out a lot of steel, basically. It's almost a sharp edge. I mean, it's dull, but it's a swedge. So I'll have to, I guess I have a diagram somewhere. I'll show that, what it looks like. It's not the Shinogi Zukuri geometry like I usually, most of my other, like all my heavy cutters are. So, like I said, I love it. I love these Unukubis. Murasame has an L6 Unukubi. Grateful Ronin. Go check out his channel. He's a viewer that just started the channel. I'm so jealous. He got the L6 Unukubi before I did. I was on a live stream. I don't remember what. I think Joe, Steel Forge of Fire, go subscribe to him. I think we're on there with, maybe it was Scabs channel, Scabs Live, Choir Boys Cutlery, go subscribe to him. We pretty much hijacked and started talking about swords, and I think I just asked the whole chat, or the whole room, chat room. I was like, does anybody know where I can find an L6 Unukubi geometry, Zukuri geometry? An L6 Unukubi Zukuri geometry blade. And I think somebody answered with something, but they don't sell them anymore, and the company don't exist or whatever. And so on a whim, I just emailed Sean at Murasame. I said, hey, can you make an L? I knew he had the L6 because I got one, but it's a Shinogi Zukuri. I'm like, well, can you do in Kumi? He said, oh yeah, we can do that. So, and now Grateful Ronin, he has one. I don't know where he got his info at, but so apparently they had, in the meantime, while I wasn't looking, he put him on his stock. So he has L6 Unukubi, which is, it's not the bayonet steel. I ain't even going to get into this in the video. I'll make it short and say the L6 is a step up above T10, which is a small step up above 1095. And it's differentially hardened. So it's strong stuff. This is not what that is. This is T10. So, but I love this steel. And it made me want the Unukubi L6 is my whole point of that. And I was like, man, if he can do this sword in L6, I want two of them. And I'm going to get two. Saving up money now. So, but like I said, Grateful Ronin beat me to the punch, and he has a review on it, I do believe, on his channel. So, actually, I think all his swords so far are Murasame. He's very happy with them. I'm very happy with him. I think he builds a hell of a sword, man. I mean, he built them way better than Bohayu. Other than the Hishigami paper, I haven't seen one of that. I would say it's right up there with JQ. I mean, nothing goes loose, nothing comes loose. I mean, it's really nice, man. Well, I think the Fuchi did come loose, and I actually did a video on how to repair it, shim it with sandpaper. So that was it. That's all that came loose, and that was through a lot of usage. That was like, yeah, I'd use it for a while before it popped loose, and it wasn't real loose. It was just bad enough to annoy me. And So yeah, so if you want one of these, like I said, he has T10s on his Amazon store page. And he'll customize, whatever you want. I'll leave his email in here. Contact Sean at Murasame-sword, and he'll be more than happy to do what you want. And he's the one that builds the sword, so you'll be talking to the guy that builds your sword. So that, it's that small a company where that's cool, and I know that matters to a lot of people. It doesn't me. Well, I mean, it don't matter to me, but it's cool. That's what I'm saying. So Murasame, all day long. The sword is awesome. So nimble, so sweet, so fun to use. I mean, the double Ito did kind of thicken it up a little bit, but it added more cushion too. It's like, I like double wrap. It didn't thicken it up too much to where it's real baseball batish or anything. It's just big enough, just small enough, just perfect. So, and like I said, that was my doing. So that was nothing on Murasame. They built me a great sword. I just messed it all up. And even rewrapping it, I had a good foundation to work on, is what I'm saying. I mean, the transitions are still nice and sweet. There's nothing, I don't think there's any cracks in it when I took it apart. If there was, I'm sure it was just minute, and I glued them back together. I mean, it wasn't like there was any cracks down the handle or anything, because I took the old wrap off. I could see it. So, yeah, run out and get yourself a Murasame. And like I said, I mean, this is, I don't know what I label this as. Heavy cutter that'll cut noodles, pool noodles even, or regular noodles, whatever you got. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an Ukubi, so it's really thin, really thin blade, really, really nimble. I don't know. I'm not real sure how to describe it, other than I had a pleasure using it. I'm glad I got it, and y'all need one. Contact Sean at Murasame. Go to Amazon, and like I said, he'll build it for you, and he'll build it right. Tell him Samurai Bird sent you. All right, he knows me. I bugged him enough. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, man. Later.